These are not your typical business strategies. So I'm not going to be talking about marketing and promoting, networking, and how to bring more clients in. That's very, very important. But these strategies are going to help you raise your vibration so that you are matched frequently with the frequency of success and abundance and all of the things that you desire and require in your business. It's also going to help you recalibrate your mind and your body when that anxious feeling and that fearful feeling starts to take over when the clients aren't calling. But most of all, what's going to happen is it's going to create that space for something magical to take place in your business and within you. So this past January, I experienced my first client drought. I just graduated in September of last year from HMI, and everything was going really, really well. I was seeing a bunch of clients, and I was even traveling and seeing clients. Over the holidays, I flew to Biloxi, Mississippi for Thanksgiving, and during Christmas time, I was in Washington, D.C. And in both cities, my schedule was jam-packed with client sessions. And I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome. I get to travel and see clients and do what I love to do. And it made me feel, puffed my chest out a little bit, made me feel very important. And then something interesting took place and changed a little bit when I came back to LA. A very rude awakening. The first week back in LA, I had 0 clients. And I thought to myself, well, I need to rest. I've been doing a lot of activity, for the past few months, so this is pretty normal. Week 2 rolls around. 1 client. And I'm like, okay, well, people are still trying to recover from the holiday season. People don't want to spend money. It's okay, I get it. The end of week 3 comes around. 1 more client. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Is LA cursed? I thought LA was cursed. I was like, maybe I just need to travel and see clients because that's when it seems to happen the most for me. And by the end of week 4, I was losing my everlasting mind. And I was riddled with anxiety. I was very insecure, totally uncertain about this new business. And I'm like, what am I doing? Am I making a mistake? What's happening? Kicked into fight mode really, really quick. And I said, okay, I got to fix this. I got to do something about this because I need to make some money. Hello? That was the first thing in my head. I need to make money. So I decided that in order to supplement my income, I did a few things. I took to social media and posted and tried to get clients to come in. That didn't work. Okay. Well, maybe I need to get a job, right? So I go on the internet and I scour all of these, part-time positions, random part-time jobs. And I found one that was a full-time position for a hypnotherapist at a rehab facility. And I thought, oh, this is great. This is going to be awesome. Okay, I'm going to apply for this. And then I saw the location. It was in a whole nother county. And it was going to take me 4 hours to commute there every single day, Monday through Friday. I had to be there at 8 a.m. and then it ended at 5 p.m. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to drive 2 hours in rush hour traffic in the morning and then 2 hours in rush hour traffic heading back home in the evening. So my voice of reason kicked in and said, honey, you know yourself. This is going to wear you out. And the worst thing about it is it could possibly turn you off to something that you are so in love with. And what's even worse is if you were to take this position, the person who would be most disservice would be your clients. Because they can feel the contention. They can feel when you are not locked in and grounded. So I said, okay, what am I going to do? All of my efforts of trying to fix it have failed. I went from fight to flight to freeze to feeling deflated, defeated, and depressed. And I went low. I went really, really dark for a while. How many of you guys have been there before? Yeah. It's not easy and it's not very pretty. I knew that I needed to do something. I needed to get myself back in a neutral place. Even if I wasn't feeling 100% excited and happy, I needed to feel neutral because I was way low. And as a hypnotherapist, I understood that. Thank goodness. So I took some steps to help me get there. And not only was I able to neutralize and recalibrate my nervous system and my mind, but I was also able to raise myself up to the point where I started attracting new opportunities and a bunch of new clients. So the steps that I took, I'm going to share that with you guys today. So step number 1, write it down. And I'm going to actually write it down for you over here. This is step number 1. Write it down. What does that mean? That means keeping some sort of journal or log. Writing things down can help to alleviate stress and anxiety almost immediately. You won't get rid of it completely, but what will happen is you start to bring that sense of calm and peace because you vented out all of the frustrations and the anger on paper using an ideomotor response. I like to use a little technique that I call the positive opposites. And I've been doing this for myself for a few years, and now I've started using it with my clients, and it's very, very effective. You take a notebook. I prefer a spiral notebook because it's, big and it's a lot of room for you to write things down. You open it up. On the left side is where you're going to write down all of the fears that you feel in that very moment that is contributing to your distress. And number it. Very important to number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many you need to write. After you write down those fears, you're going to put your pen and your pad down and just take a deep breath. Taking that deep breath is going to help to recenter everything. And then take some inventory of your body and how you feel. And you will notice a change. Like I said, you may not be feeling like, unicorns and peaches yet, but you will notice that you've calmed down a little bit. Then take a moment and connect with your higher self. And this is very important. And just say, higher self, give me the positive opposite of every fear that I just wrote down. And it might come in that very moment, or you might need to go out for a walk, take a nap, grab a snack. But then come back to that page, and on the right side of that notebook, allow that positive opposite, whatever that higher self is telling you, you're going to write a positive opposite for every single fear that you wrote down. With me, for example, one of my major fears was this business, my hypnotherapy practice, was going to fail like all the others. Because I had started 3 previous businesses, and they didn't do very well. So when my hypnotherapy practice took that low, that slow activity, it triggered that fear again. And immediately, I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But the positive opposite that came through from my higher self was this. This is very, very powerful, for me anyway. It said to me, this business chose you. And you are doing your life's purpose. The previous businesses were stepping stones to your life purpose. So just relax. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And that's just one of many, many positive opposites that came through during that little dialogue and that process, because trust me, I had a whole bunch of fears, a bunch of them. I think it ran over into like the 2nd page. But for every fear you write down, you have to match it with a positive opposite, and it has to be positive. This is why it's important to tap into the higher self first. Because sometimes when we are in that fight-flight mode and we're feeling anxious and fearful, we can't find a positive. Now, the way you can do this with your clients, you can do it a couple of ways. You can either give them the assignment where they go home and write down all of their fears and then come back to you and and then you read the fear to them, and then they tell you the positive opposite after they've connected with their higher self. And you can do this cognitively. Because what's going to happen is you're going to use those positive opposites as suggestions in hypnosis. Or you can sit there in the session and have them vent to you what all of the fears are. You write them down, and then you tell them, take a deep breath, get silent for a moment, and let's see what the positive opposites are for each one, and have them vent that out to you as well, and then take them down into hypnosis and feed them those positive opposites. Very, very powerful, super effective, trust me. There was a study done by Dr. James Pennebaker at the University of Texas, and it showed that writing is an important tool that allows a person to think about an experience as well as express emotions. Makes a lot of sense, right? Using that positive opposite technique. This helps them to organize their thoughts and give meaning to a traumatic or stressful experience. So you guys can see the importance of writing. I keep several journals, actually. I keep a journal when I need to let my frustrations and my crazy emotions out. I have a journal for creative ideas and projects that come. Sometimes when I'm out jogging or walking around, a little idea comes and I just jot it down. I also keep a dream journal. I also have a journal for meditative downloads. So when I'm in a deep meditation or a hypnosis, sometimes I get these wacky little downloads, and I keep a journal of that because they become very useful later on down the line. And of course, my mental bank ledger, which helps us to rewrite our life script and keep track of our progress in our personal and business matters. For those of you who might be rolling your eyes and saying, oh, I hate journaling, I hate writing stuff down, or if you have clients who don't enjoy journaling, use your smartphone. Record it. Have a verbal journal. You got to get it out. Let's go to step number 2, which is reach out. Reach out. Forgive my handwriting. Okay. I have several good friends, mentors, counselors that I go to whenever I'm having some sort of issue. And most of the time I like to go to people who are working in the same field that I'm working in. So other hypnotherapists or other energy healers, people who are working in that same business. Because they have insights, and preferably somebody who's been doing it for a really long time. Because trust me, they've been where you are right now. They've experienced the client drought. They've experienced the business owner blues. They've felt those lows. So talk to them. Reach out to them. They can give you insight. They can give you advice. And they might be able to help you with work opportunities if it's available. But you got to open your mouth and say something. You have to share what you're going through. How many of us are really good at suffering in silence? Yeah, I'm getting better, but oh, goodness. You ever heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets the oil? So it's the same thing. Reach out, talk to your network. They're here for you. And when you start talking about what you don't want and saying what you do want, you're sending those rockets off to the universe, and you're saying, look, thank you for this little information you've given me, but this is what I really want. And so you start to put the wheel in motion to receive the things that you want to attract. I reached out to one of my mentors, because I have many, and she said this very profound thing to me, and it really shifted everything. She said, just be on the path. Just observe the path. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try to do anything. Just be there. And I was like, oh my God. Not that I didn't know this already, but At that moment, I needed to hear that. I needed that little push. And it made me step back and say, you know what? This is my journey. This is all a part of the book. Because in my mind, I've told myself, one day I'm writing a book about all this stuff that I've been through. Because it's going to help somebody else. And it really helped me to appreciate for a moment what was going on. And it lifted me up a little bit, gave me some hope, which is what we do for our clients. When they come and reach out to us, we're giving them hope. We're giving them that sense of, hey, this is temporary. The situation you're dealing with right now is temporary. And all you have to do is make a decision to change it. Reaching out, very, very important step. Step number 3, get still, breathe, and be silent. Okay. We understand the importance of these 3 things, right? Because this is stuff that we tell our clients all the time. Breathe. Breathing helps to get us centered. It helps to recalibrate the nervous system and reset us. Getting still gives us a moment to become aware. And being silent gives us that space to receive whatever the transmission is, or the information is, or the message that we need in that moment. Throughout your day, just take a few moments to get still. Take some deep breaths, especially if you're going through the business owner blues and you're having a client drought. Just breathe. Breathe through it. Because what's going to happen is it's going to bring you some clarity. And it's going to help you to start to focus on the positive things that are happening in your life, which can be very, very impactful. I will say this. If you are in distress, or if your client comes in distress and full of anxiety, I would suggest that you get them to a calm state before you try to take them into any trance, into any meditation or hypnosis, and even for yourself. And the reason is because of this. When we go into trance, we are opening ourselves to other dimensions. And we are making ourselves available to other energies and entities. So if we're vibrating low and depressed, sad, anxious, angry, frustrated, guess what you're going to attract to you? Like attracts like, right? Energy attracts energy. Your vibration attracts the same thing that you're vibrating at. So there's a possibility that you'll attract a low frequency or low vibrating energy or entity as well. And when you come out of that trance, you might be feeling worse. It has happened to me. So make sure you do something to help raise you up a little bit. Do those first 2 steps, write it down and reach out. Breathe, and then go into that trance state. When you are getting still and you're moving into that meditative, hypnotic state, this is the time where you get to communicate with your higher self, or that universal mind that the subconscious mind connects to when we go into hypnosis and when we go into meditation. This is the time where you get to ask questions. What are my next steps? What do I need to focus on right now? What do I need to do right now? And then just be silent and listen, pay attention. Again, sometimes it'll come right in that moment, and sometimes it might come later. It might come as an idea or a thought. You might be having a conversation with someone, and you're like, oh, you know what, that's it. You might overhear a conversation. For me, sometimes it comes through a song, or while I'm watching a movie, they'll say a line, and I'm like, oh, that's it. It comes in many different forms, but you have to open yourself to the possibility of it. And be aware. Always be aware of what's happening around you. Use all of your senses. This is something else that we teach our clients, right? We use all of the senses in hypnosis. When we take them into the hypnotic state, we get them to experience the scene that they're in, the journey that they're on, through sight, through smell. What do you hear? Do you taste anything? What does it taste like? You can use this for yourself as well. Let's move on to step number 4, which is one of my favorites. Relax and rest. Rest and relax. If you don't have any clients calling you, what else are you going to do? You might as well take a nap, go to sleep, rest. You know what I mean? And I realized that I actually needed to do that because for a whole year and a half, I was at school at HMI. Then I was focusing on building my business and growing my practice. I was traveling, I was doing all of this stuff. I was hitting the ground hard, grinding, seeing clients, being 100% available to my clients. But I forgot along the way to take care of myself, and that happens as caretakers. We are all caretakers in this room. That happens sometimes. You're so available to everybody else that you forget about you. And my subconscious mind knew this. My subconscious mind said, we need to slow this girl down because we need to rest. And what will happen is your subconscious mind will create a situation to help you out. And it may not even be a situation that you enjoy, but it will help you settle down. It's trying to help you, but it may not feel good when it's trying to help you, the way in which it goes about helping you. In my situation, it created a slow period in my business because I needed to rest. However, it used that situation and reminded me of a time when that happened in my other businesses, and it triggered that fear in me. It triggered that response of anxiety. But it was just trying to help me. It was in that resting period that I was able to finally say, okay, I can let go now, and my mind started to clear up. I started to see things from a different way, in a different perspective, because I was finally getting some sleep and I wasn't tossing and turning throughout the night because I wasn't full of anxiety. Spending time in nature was another great way for me to get some good rest. And we know how powerful nature is because we do what with our clients? We take them through a scene in nature. So even if you can't get out there and lay underneath a tree or, go hiking or whatever, you can always take yourself through that scene in nature through a journey, through hypnosis. It helps. During my little depression, I would take my blanket out to one of my favorite parks, and I would just lay down in the grass underneath the tree, and I would just lay on each side. I would lay on the right side for a few minutes, and the back, the left, and then on my stomach. And what I would do is I would just imagine any negative energy flowing out of my body into the earth, and then I would imagine that good nurturing, healing energy from Mother Earth was flowing back up into my body. And sometimes I would just fall asleep for like an hour or two out there, and then I would wake up and I would feel so rejuvenated, so re-energized, and I would feel a lot better after I did that. Very important. Dr. Danielle Shanahan is a researcher at the University of Queensland, And she suggested that spending just 30 minutes a week in nature can help reduce anxiety, depression, and stress. So imagine if you did that every day. If you just sat underneath a tree for like 20 or 30 minutes a day, imagine how impactful that could be. Or if you just took yourself through a nature scene every day in hypnosis. Maybe you don't have access to a park. Maybe your client doesn't have access to a park. But inviting them to take that nature scene can be very, very helpful for someone who's dealing with high stress and anxiety. Another study was done at Stanford University, and they found that time spent in nature not only reduces stress, anxiety, and depression, but it also decreases rumination. You know, rolling over those same negative thoughts and emotions over and over and over again. Extremely helpful. Another thing that happened to me during this restful period, I started to let go of everything. I forgot about trying to fix stuff. I was just like, you know what? Pfft, clients aren't calling. I'm about to go to the beach. I'm about to hang out. I'm going to go shop. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to just do me. And really started to pamper myself. And a few things happened miraculously. I didn't do anything for any of this to happen. An online magazine contacted me and said, hey, we want to feature your company, your hypnotherapy practice in one of our articles. And I was just like, oh, okay, sure. And then I was inspired to run a promotion that got me 5 new clients in just 1 week. But none of this was happening when I was in my heightened state of anxiety and fear and stress. It was only when I was able to clear my conscience and get some clarity and rest and relax my body and my whole nervous system that I was able to open up that pathway for creativity to flow in and for those opportunities to come in. I'm going to move on to the next step, which is become aware. Okay? Become aware. After going through all of the other steps, I started to put 2 and 2 together and figure out why I was going through what I was going through. And again, I was reminded of how the subconscious mind works, you know? It will tap on you to say, hey, you need to deal with this. I was still suffering from my other businesses not working. I had never really healed from that. And that was the root of everything that I was feeling from just this little low period in my hypnotherapy practice. So once I started to become aware of that, I was able to truly change my perspective and say, okay, so now if you ever experience that again, because we're going to experience low periods in our business. I mean, it's just the nature of business. It's just how it goes. But what matters is your response to it. And that's how quickly you will move through it or not. So becoming aware of the situation, just paying attention to how you feel, paying attention to what's happening, paying attention to the shifts in your emotions, the shifts in your consciousness, and the shifts in your experiences, which kind of ties back into journaling and writing it down, because as you keep a log of how you move from one stage through another one, you start to come up with ways that you can start to help your clients, which is how this whole presentation was born, because I journaled and logged everything that I went through. So becoming aware, that's the 5th step. I'm going to give you guys a bonus step, and this is probably the most powerful one. It's gratitude and appreciation. Wow. I'm so grateful, first of all, that I got some rest. I'm grateful for the opportunity and the space to sleep, because I needed that. I really needed it. But I'm also grateful and appreciative of the experience because I went from looking at it as a drought and a slow period to a blessing. And it's a blessing because this is something that I'm now able to use with my clients that come in, and you can use this not just for business matters, but for personal matters as well. So it's a blessing in the fact that I'm able to pass this on to somebody else and say, okay, let's go through these steps here and help to get you lifted up. Very, very important. Yes?
You mentioned that 30 minutes of nature can help reduce anxiety. Is that 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes a week?
The research showed 30 minutes a week. Yeah. But I would expand that. I would do it. I try to do it every day if I can, you know. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. What I would like to do now is give you guys a little demonstration of how you can put up a protective shield around your energy field before you go into meditation or hypnosis, and how you can weave it into a progressive relaxation for your clients. Remember, I talked about how you need to make sure you bring yourself to that state of calm and peace before you go into meditation so you don't attract low vibrational energies. Well, just in case you or your client is still feeling a little wobbly before you go into meditation, you can put some sort of protective shield around you that'll help to block out any negative energies. So if you guys don't mind, put your things down, put your feet flat on the floor. And assume the position. Just go ahead and close your eyes and take in some nice, deep, cleansing breaths. And just allow the body to settle down. Uncross your legs and cross your hands. And imagine a golden light swirling at the very top of your head. And this light has a joyful personality, a playful personality. Feeling secure, warm. And every single breath in and out causes this golden light to just expand and stretch. It stretches forward and backward, left to right, diagonally forward and backward, all across the crown. Every breath in and out causes this golden light to begin to stretch down over the face, over the back of the head, down and around the shoulders, over the arms, the chest and back. Stretching down more with every breath over the abdominal region, the lower back, down over the hips, over the thighs, the legs, the ankles, the feet, down into the earth around the feet, and it wraps around, forming a complete circle around your entire body. You are now prepared for your journey, the journey going deep. As we begin to allow that sense of calm and peace to flow down over the head, over the forehead, into the face, releasing, letting go of any muscle tension, tightness, or stress. Allowing the temples to release and let go. The jawline relaxed. Even the teeth, gums, and tongue are completely and totally relaxed now. Allowing this calm sensation to flow down into the back of the neck, into the throat. Releasing all of the tiny little muscles in the throat. Down over the collarbone, over the shoulders, the shoulder blades, down the spine, into the chest, expanding all around the heart center. Releasing, letting go of any tightness in the chest now. Flowing down, comfort and peace into the solar plexus. Noticing if there's any tightness in the abdominal muscles and just allowing that breath, that very deep breath that you take in now on the exhale, releasing. Allowing more comfort to flow down into the hips, over the thighs, into the knees, the calves, the shins, and the ankles. Down around the feet and the toes, and out of the soles, sending that energy of comfort and oneness down into the earth beneath you. And as we continue down, deeper down into relaxation, counting from 5 to 0, dropping a little bit deeper at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, deeper relaxation. Drifting, floating in this space of absolute comfort, peace, tranquility, and release. And noticing a windy path laid out in front of you, twisting and turning. You're not very certain of where this path leads or what it holds for you, but you feel a sense of enthusiasm and excitement as you begin to journey down this path, journeying into the realm of the unknown, holding the space for possibility, for something magical to take place. Stepping down the path now at 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, deeper relaxation. As you stand in the awareness of your purpose on this planet, of your duty as a healer, as an energy worker, as a master of the mind, You are reminded that this is all a part of the book that you write of your life, the book that you write for healing. And as you heal, you learn new processes, new techniques, new strategies that will enhance your life and the life of others. And it is with absolute gratitude and appreciation that you can take this journey and not know what to expect and be met with the unknown and find a way to enthusiastically make your mark on this planet and in the lives of others. So as we begin to end the journey into the unknown for now, taking in a nice deep cleansing breath, going in a little bit deeper at 0, reinforcing the positives of this revelation. Closing the door to the subconscious mind. Locking in all positives, blocking out all negatives and obstacles. As we begin to come up now at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. Good. So that's an example of how you can put that protective shield around yourself and your clients. You can weave it into the progressive relaxation. If they're still feeling a little, wound up, it's a great technique to use. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
I want to know, from my experience, when you go through something like that, sometimes the mind drifts off, right?
Yeah.
But technically, your conscious mind really doesn't need to know what's going on because the subconscious is still going to be following through, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the conscious mind kind of moves out of the way for just a little bit while we're in that state. It's still there, but you just allow yourself to go into that journey and experience it, because the subconscious mind is now able to receive the positive suggestions because the natural defenses are out of the way. Yeah. Anybody else? Great. Going through this entire experience was very profound. And like I said, it helped me recognize some of the patterns that I would, go into every now and again, especially when it comes around business. And, I've been an entrepreneur for many, many, many years. And I recognized how those patterns blocked me in the other businesses. So it wasn't until I became a hypnotherapist that I was able to realize that. So that's very powerful. We have the knowledge and we have the tools to quickly identify the things that are keeping us from moving forward, and quickly identify the roadblocks that we come up against when we're trying to pull certain things into our experience. So that's very important that we are able to tap into that. And I also realized that in order to receive some things, I got to let go of some stuff, And, this is a very personal thing for me to be sharing, but, going deep into that depression and that darkness like that is scary. Your thoughts get away with you and get away from you. And it can be dangerous too. So when you are working with a client that is that low, of course you want to make sure you get a medical referral, because they could be suffering from, severe anxiety or clinical depression. So you definitely want to make sure you do that. But to bring them that sense of immediate relief, if they're coming to you before they get the medical referral, we want to make sure that we give them that sense of hope, to let them know that it's very temporary what we're going through right now. You know, we all have these ups and downs. And you give them that sense of hope. The positive opposites is a great thing for them to do cognitively. And also, this experience helped me to come up with this presentation, like I said before. So I would encourage you guys that whenever you're going through a really dark time, or whenever you are having, you know, these emotional pitfalls, is what I like to call them, pay attention to it. Pay attention to how you're feeling, pay attention to what you're doing to move through it, because you never know what you could be creating for your business. You never know what you could be creating for clients or for your peers. So our burdens can become our blessings. And so it's a very important time of my life now when I go through other, you know, bad times, you know, or seemingly bad times. Now I can look at it from a different perspective, and I'm like, you know what, okay, let's just, before we go all the way down that rabbit hole, let's stop for a minute, look at it and say, what can I take from this? And this is also something that we can share with our clients to get them to see the positive in everything, to get them to see what is trying to come through, because it's always some sort of message trying to come through. Everything happens for a reason. Nothing happens just because. So if you're feeling a certain way, it's the subconscious mind telling you there's something here that needs to be healed, there's something here that we need to look at and pay attention to. And tapping into the subconscious mind helps to connect with that universal mind, that collective consciousness. And it's through there that we're able to get a lot of the answers to the questions that we have. So it's very important if you are a hypnotherapist and you're not practicing some kind of self-hypnosis on a daily basis, or some sort of meditation practice where you're getting still, getting quiet, and asking those questions, then I would encourage you to do that, because it's going to help not only in your everyday life and your physical body and health, but it's also going to help in your practice. It's going to make you a better hypnotherapist when you practice what you're preaching. We have to do that. You got to use it on yourself before you can use it on your clients, so that you can know that it works. Any questions? Yes.
So I agree with a lot of everything that you're saying. However, we are in business and we are conducting a business. And if you don't have any clients coming in, you can't pay your bills.
Yeah.
And so that can be difficult to be still. So do you have any other suggestions on what to do to, because, you know, if I don't have enough clients, I'm thinking I gotta work harder.
Right.
And I gotta market my practice more.
Right.
And I have to do what I have to do to get clients. So it could be challenging to, you know, maybe go to the beach and relax when my mind is on getting clients and, you know, being able to pay my bills.
Right.
So do you have any other suggestions or advice on what to do?
Yes, I suggest you do those first two steps first before you even try to get still and breathe and relax. The first two steps is writing it down, because venting out your frustrations on a page can really help a lot to kind of just calm you down. Then you're going to talk to someone. Talk to your mentors, because they can give you advice on things that you need to do to help market your business and to get your, you know, draw more clients into you. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to, and I did this, I went out there trying to get more clients, but I did it from a space of lack. I did it from that place of fear, and guess what? It didn't work. It did not work. So the first thing you have to do is get your energy and your vibration uplifted, because once I did that, they came. They came. I didn't need to do any legwork, you know? They just started calling. And you're also opening yourself up to ideas. When you are bogged down in anxiety and fear, there's no room or space for that creativity to flow, you know? So you gotta do something for you first. We always want to go do the work first, you know? We want to do the active work first to make a change. But really, we got to change the inside first, and then those ideas start to come. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Just to piggyback on what you were saying, I heard one of the conferences one time, we need to move out of the lack shack and into the mansion of expansion.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Absolutely. That's to sum all of this up. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and when we're in a place and we're not attracting the things that we want, we got to look at what's going on here, you know. One of my good friends, when I was telling her what I was going through during this process, she said, "Oh, you created your own personal Mercury retrograde." I said, "You are right. Oh my God," because we know that the Mercury retrograde is a time to pause and reflect and be still. That's, you know, so that's what my subconscious mind created that for me. You know, and it was in this whole process that I was able to figure out the pattern that I kept falling into, you know? Work, so that you can get the client. And it was just like, wow, you've been doing that the whole time, and this is the reason why you were coming up against these roadblocks. So I'm not saying don't do the work, but I'm saying do this work first, the inside job first. That's what matters. Yes, absolutely. I have really enjoyed my time here with you guys today, and I would like to once again thank the American Hypnosis Association for inviting me to speak with you. It's been a pleasure. If you guys have any more questions about what I discussed today, please do feel free to email me at shara@opendoorhypnosis.com. Thank you for your time and attention.